Trying something different this morning. Seeing how this goes. It's working! Yay! Hooray! I'm gonna get better and better at this, just so everybody is so sure. The usual Nancy way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's totally good. Hi! It's great. Perf. Okay, cool. Happy Thursday. Today we are going to talk a little bit about appreciation. So every single day of the week, there's a different part of my energy wellness that I focus on. And it's sort of like when you go to the gym and have like arm day, leg day, but it's for like different energetic properties of myself so that I can continuously be in uplifting energy that I want, energy that is attracting and creating things that I want for life, you know, not living in patterns or repeating loops. You know, I think that was a huge part of all of this for me. You know, I saw somebody posting yesterday, and they were asking people above 40. I think I actually did think this before 40, but there was a space when it was like, is this it? Is this really what I was working for? Is this how I'm supposed to feel? Because I was sort of under the impression that once I got to that space in my life, all of the other things were going to make sense, and, you know, like this sort of achievement would have been felt, you know? But that wasn't what was happening, and actually it was opposite of that. It was opposite of that. And like for me, like when the awakening started for me, understanding my energy, being sort of pushed enough that I felt like there was no choice. You know, it was getting to the point, a part in my life where it was unbearable to live in my life. You know, it was so uncomfortable inside of my mind, and you know, I had no idea what to do with that. And the only thing that finally sounded like a good idea was, you know, tapping out of this experience. And it wasn't until getting there, and I know that this isn't the same way it has to be for everybody. I know that as we all see each other learning about ourselves, we can jump in without having to go all the way down to the rock bottom. Like, I know now helping my children understand their emotional well-being is going to set them up so differently from me, because I was taught the opposite. I was sort of taught that my emotional body was my problem. I was literally taught that's your problem. And, you know, I needed to figure out some way to deal with it so that I could continue to do whatever it was that I needed to do that day. And I do not think that when I was guided and told, you know, your feelings are your problem, I don't feel like my parents, specifically my dad, I don't feel like they were trying to teach this to me on purpose. I feel like that's what they learned. I feel like that's what they thought was going to be helpful for me so that I could get about in this world, you know? It was very much like the energy of face reality, but the reality that they wanted me to face sucked. You know, it sucked. I didn't want to face that reality. It didn't feel exciting. It didn't feel like anyone would want to face that reality. You know, it's like, this is really what, you know? How do I make it bigger? Let me make it bigger. Oop. Did I change? So I want to talk a little bit about appreciation today. Oh, it did, kind of, yay. Today, as on Thursday, the Thankful Thursday, we've all heard that. I like that for the day because it works. I like 2 T's. I like things like that. For me, I like it. It was an easy thing for me to adopt into my energy wellness. When I talked a couple of days ago about synchronicities and what numbers mean to you, it's all the same for everything. The days of the week do have their own feelings, meanings, connections, but you get to decide what it means. So for me, Tuesday, I love Tuesday for communication. But if you feel like, your best day is a Wednesday, that's going to be your best day. And I think that in the beginning of playing with all this, I always like to encourage the idea of playing as you learn your energy, because this isn't a space where you want to give yourself more work. It is worky. Like, one of my great friends, one of the Moonies, was here the other day, and we were talking about what it takes to do this work. And it's grueling at times. And it's not something that will give you this instant gratification. And this is where it's different in the world of energy versus our gross reality. When you pick something up, if you let it go, it's going to fall on the floor right now. In your head, if you pick up an idea and then you let it go, maybe that's it. Maybe it never got to hit the floor, With your energy, it needs a little more of you so that it can sort of be birthed into our reality. I always like to remind us how our world is being created is we're thinking and feeling. We wake up. Almost immediately our brain goes into a thought or a memory or what we got to do to that day or what we're looking forward to, what we're not looking forward to. That is the motor that is creating, magnetizing, filming this show. So we're thinking, and then we have a feeling response to all thoughts, all words. It takes about 3 to 5 seconds for a thought to land in your body and that feeling to ping. If you think SpaghettiOs are great, poop is stinky, all those different thoughts, nothing is going to necessarily catch until you land on something that you do it more than once. So I would say SpaghettiOs are great, poop is stinky. Why am I talking about these things? Because it's funny, because it's easy. And so you can see how talking that way. SpaghettiOs are great, poop is stinky. This is stupid. She's ridiculous. I don't know what she's talking about. What is she even talking about? Who are SpaghettiOs even real anymore? You can go either way. And as you think thoughts that you're saying in your mind, as you think those words, she's stupid, has a feeling response. What is this? That's funny, has a different response. I always like to remind my clients when we're first starting to work together, there's a couple of really easy giveaways for our energetic body. When something is stupid, just know that your ego is taking the air. Your ego is running the show, is in the driver's seat. So we have our ego, shadow, inner child, and higher self. Those 4 faculties, those 4 parts of you, one of them are always in here doing this. So as I'm sitting here looking and talking to you, this is Rose's favorite space. Her morning time is her time to shine. I like to listen to her. She is my highest self. She will always know what's best for me. She's always going to tell me where to go. And of all the humans in the world, of all the things in the world, unless there is a fire right here, I am going to listen to her. I'm going to listen to that part of me. However, when I'm in a mood and I'm feeling upside down in my energy, if I'm tired or cranky or feeling disappointed, that's not Rose. When I'm thinking and feeling disappointment, Rose is not in the driver's seat. I have now let someone else, some other part of me do this. It's probably my shadow, or it could be my inner child. It's not likely going to be it wouldn't be my higher self if the feelings in my body don't feel the basis I say for high self feeling is okay, neutral, just content. But content can really mimic boredom, and they are not the same. Content is whole. It's I wouldn't take it if you gave it to me. That's what content is. Boredom is I'm letting myself be satisfied because I know this isn't forever. You know, boredom is, if something else came along, I would do that instead. Content is, I'm so good I don't even want it. It could come along and I'm not gonna go. You know, and it's because I am just so content. And words, feelings, and emotions can be so close. And that's because that's how our self in our insides move and take steps. Like, I'm bored and then I'm content, and then I'm content and then I'm a little excited. I'm a little excited and now I'm enthusiastic, and now I'm feeling optimistic. And, you know, you keep moving up that way versus I'm content, I am bored. I am bored, I am annoyed. I'm annoyed, I'm agitated. I'm agitated, I am resentful. I'm resentful, now I'm feeling a little jealous. And now I'm feeling a little envious and a little rageful. And our thinking thoughts, our inner world does it like that. The way that left foot, right foot takes steps, we think and feel thoughts into a manifestation, into an unfolding, into an experience. All the time, over and over and over and over again. So appreciation is, we all know what that means, right? It means to value something, to hold it in a light of like, thank you, I love you. You know, I would love more of this, you know? That's, I think, what usually comes to mind for appreciation. You know, Thankful Thursday, thank you for the sun, thank you for my home, thank you for my family, thank you for my friends, thank you for my well-being. These are easy things that we can find appreciation for in the morning. And when you're starting this work, appreciation is one of the better energies to learn. It's your fast-moving magnet. It's going to give you results, even if you don't know, don't believe in, or haven't yet figured all the rest of these parts out. The same way that gravity is going to always gravity at you, no matter what, appreciation will always give you more, no matter what, whether you know it or not. Appreciation births desire. Now let's just take a little minute to look at appreciation, because we are humans. Hooray! Nothing is ever one thing just as it seems. It's always both. We are always going to have this, it's always going to be this little dance inside of our body of, oh, I want this. I want this. I don't have this, but I want this. And the more that we can start to dance in our energy, like, I want this, and because now I know it, I'm going to get to have it. I can't wait to have this. You know, when you let yourself be that way versus before in my thought energy, I would think I want something, but I can't have it. She has it. She probably gets everything she wants. Blah, 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 blah. And then maybe I would go on to attack another part of me. Like maybe it's because, you know, her family is better off financially. Maybe it's because she's prettier than me. You know, I would just start attacking that thing that I want and the person that is now just showing me. A lot of times we aren't understanding what other humans are for us. And that makes sense. Nobody comes out, I didn't come out, I'm 47. I don't feel like I know anybody that came out into this world and was like immediately taught this stuff that I know. The stuff that I am teaching my little kids, you know, little kids. My little kids is bigger than you. But you know what I mean? Like we don't necessarily get this. Our world, the way that we live inside of this body doesn't necessarily look like we got a lot to do with each other. It looks like I'm a secular individual being. It doesn't look like I'm connected to you because I can pick my whole self up and walk away. I could never see you, talk to you, hear you, or smell you again. And yet, there is still a connection to every single human. The same way that, you know, if for nothing else, the connection of we all live on the earth. And on this earth is all atmospherically controlled with the sun and the moon and the ocean. You know, that's going to affect every single human no matter what. So there's that connection. Every single human, no matter what, yeah, we can do that one. No matter what, has a heart that is beating. And yes, there are some people's hearts that are beating better than others. But for the most part, for this general conversation, humans have hearts beat. That's another thing that we have in connection. We have a circulatory system. We have a digestive system. you're a human, you're going to have both of those things, or you're not going to be a human very long. We have that in common. It just is like this really interesting thing. Again, because we are human, we get to be both. We get to be like a stamp of just like you, just like you, just like you, just like you, but also only just like me. Only just like me. I think about like snowflakes and how they say, and fingerprints, how they say there are no two alike. But do they really know? You know, if another version of me was alive 300, 3,000, however many millennia ago, how would I know? I wouldn't probably overlap. You know, there's so many countries and spaces on this place. Like, how do I know there isn't another version just like me? And where our fingerprints don't match. But for the most part, the idea is that our fingerprints aren't going to match each other. You know, our thoughts definitely couldn't match each other. Even if, like, me and my sisters grew up in the same house. My closest sister to me was a year and 11 months apart of my age. It felt like we were like twins. Because we just were, everything was the same. Our bodies were like the same size, you know. I'm a little short, so there was like this space where we just looked the same. Oh no, that never. Weird. All right. So we know we're having, if you don't know, but we're having a Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the planet that is aligned to our communication. We use technology for communication. My technology has been so weird this time around. And, you know, there's times when I feel like I almost don't notice the retrogrades. I think I'm a little backwards myself, you know. I feel like sometimes the backwards is familiar, but this time around, it's been having its way with me. Okay. Cool. All right. My BFF is coming over so I can color her hair. So appreciation. The thing about appreciation is a lot of times we think appreciate means to like it, like a good feeling. We think the word appreciation is aligned to enjoyment, you know, value. We see appreciation usually as something that we would want more of. Excuse me. The tricky thing with appreciation inside of our energy is we can be appreciating something in a negative way and not realize it. Some humans more than others will do this, like ruminate, like where we think something and just think it over and over again. Like our brain will just play the scenario and it's like, I wish I'd done this. What if I'd have done that? And we see it happening different, and we see it. That same process is appreciation. Is the same way appreciation moves. When we appreciate, we are focusing on it. Usually we connect appreciation with good feeling. And it's easy when you're practicing your energy well-being to on purpose use appreciation in a good way. Good, not the best word, but good for the sake of what we want to attract versus what we prefer not to have more of. So when we are in this thinking mind and we are feeling good about something, good or better, good or excited, good or woo yay, we're growing more of that, and higher positive energy moves faster. Sad, slow, cold, angry energy moves slower. It's kind of easy to see in people's body language. A sad person usually looks closed off, not energetic. You know, they don't look happy in their body. You know, that's why people can walk around all day long in the day and looking off, and people will be like, well, what's wrong? And nothing, I'm fine. And everybody knows you're not fine. But you decided to say that you're fine. You're totally allowed to do what you want. But just so you know, you aren't ever going to be able to convince your cells something different than what your emotional body has decided. If thinking this thought feels like bleh, your energy is at that space. Whenever your mood is something for like 3 minutes, that's your point of attraction. So I'm feeling pretty great. I'm feeling pretty yay. If I think this way for a few minutes, I'm going to have a tune and a magnet to that. If I'm feeling uncertain, I'm feeling like, oh God, this isn't going to work out. If I'm feeling regretful, if I'm feeling embarrassed, I am going to start slowing down my energy and magnetizing, attracting toward that. If there is already momentum, meaning I already have done this thought before, I've already had this experience, maybe I've done this 10 times before, it can move faster because of that momentum. But when something is brand new and it is a scared, slower feeling, the same way that we would create something good for ourselves, we will create something that we don't even want for ourselves. Thinking on something for more than 3 minutes sets and tunes your magnet, and the way that you feel about it, not what you say, the way that you feel about it is where you are as far as your point of attraction goes. The coolest thing about energy is, even if I am focusing on like my health, maybe I want to do better at work, but it's giving me stress right now. My coworkers and I aren't seeing eye to eye. My boss isn't paying me the way that I feel I deserve. I'm upside down in my work energy, but I'm really happy about my health. I got great friends, you know. I love my home. You know, these things are working well for me. So if I let my mind think into the things that are working well for me on purpose. Now, this is a lot of times tricky, wicky, like unsatisfying work in the beginning, because when you think something isn't going right, it seems logical that your brain would chew on it until it can get it to where you like it. That's just not what usually almost ever never happens. When you start chewing on something that you don't think is going to work out, you hold yourself in this state of like pause. You drag this thing out because, first of all, uncertainty, slow, unhappy energy is slower moving. You're probably saying, I would like it this way. You're probably thinking, I want it this way, but I can't have it. Yes and no, yes and no. That is not moving energy. Moving energy is, I'm letting this go and it's going to happen. So, oh, look at my sweat pits. Wow. Whoa, that is impressive. That is impressive. I never sweat. Oh my God. I'm not even warm. So I was debating on whether I was going to share or not about my yesterday. But no, my sweat pits have made me laugh into this space. And I am feeling huge appreciation today. I'm feeling huge appreciation for like being my normal me, waking up in my body every single day. Years ago, when I first started this work, I was a very reckless drinker. You know, I liked alcohol a lot, and I liked party favors to go with it. And usually I would only drink once or twice a week, but when I did, I would drink really a lot, and I would try to like put myself out and not because I was trying to black myself out, but just because I felt like I had to go really hard to make up for all the time I couldn't have. And so I spent 1,000 days not drinking. And after that, I was sort of told, if I wanted to try to reintroduce and see if I could have a different relationship with the alcohol again, go for it. Ultimately, the reason that I quit drinking in the first place was because of the party favor part. I didn't want to do that anymore, and I would only do that if I was drinking. Nowhere in my body did I ever do that not. So it seemed logical that if I wanted to get something out of there, if I took away the bridge, I wouldn't go there. And it was true. After going back into the world, letting myself libation again, no part of me wanted to go to the other stuff. Like, if anything, I felt even more appreciation. It was pretty easy for me to sort of realize that I have a pretty low tolerance. And it was pretty easy for me to respect that. And so a couple nights ago, I was sitting in the kitchen and it was just feeling funny, silly, precarious, and a little ornery in my energy, A little like, I am content, but maybe I'm bored, so let me just poke and push this button and see what happens, because I want something to happen. You know what I mean? I was feeling a little like that. So I sat there, again, not something that I normally would do. I poured myself a margarita and I drank it. And usually about 2 drinks is gonna be my max. But I'm sitting in my kitchen and I'm texting with some friends, and I poured 3 margaritas that evening. And I woke up so not normal, It felt like this weird electricity under my skin. I could not get it together. And yes, if I had to go and do something, if the house had set afire, if there was happening to be like 100 praying mantises in my basement and I had to vacuum them all out, I would eventually be able to do that. But it did not feel very good. It did not feel like me. All day long yesterday, I could not wait to wake up today and just be normal me, So yeah, I appreciate just waking up sober. I appreciate waking up early like I like to wake up. I appreciate waking up like fresh. I appreciate waking up excited, like I got a lot of energy. I appreciate waking up dancing and singing and playing. I appreciate waking up not being dizzy. I appreciate waking up and starting the day and getting to this part. I appreciate all the things that I get to do. And those things are best done by just being normal me. Like the same me that gets to love myself and care for myself all day and then put myself to sleep gets to wake up and have my favorite time of the day. The morning is my favorite time of the day. And yesterday, I did not get to have my favorite time of the day. I woke up past my favorite time of the day, and I could barely get myself through the parts of my day in a way that felt good. Like, it would have been lying to myself to say that I felt good yesterday. I did not. And, I feel like when I woke up today, it was really easy to jump onto the appreciation bus. It's like, oh, thank God. That's over. But I just want to say, no matter where you are in your life, whether you are waking up like I woke up yesterday or waking up like I woke up today, there are different ways to find thoughts into appreciation. Even if, thank God, I'm going to go to sleep tonight and this will be over. Thank God I'm letting myself have this experience so that I can know what I prefer instead. Thank you for showing me. Thank you, human, for showing me what I want or what I don't want. Thank you, physical feeling in my body, for showing me what I want or don't want. And I'm not going to spend time beating myself up or hating on the messenger. I'm just going to appreciate it, because all I got to do is know that it's available to me if it's coming into my thinking mind. All I do is tune the funnel so that it can flow. If I'm thinking right now, well, I don't got this because I drank 3 margaritas yesterday, I could just be stuck in that perpetual place of, You know, maybe I wouldn't have woken up feeling better. You know, maybe I would have indulged in the hair of the dog. I probably would never have done such a thing yesterday. But just saying, people do that. I had been a people that had done that before. As long as we are in a human body, we have options. And I think that's our best powerful knowing. We got options and we got power. How do we use them? With our thinking mind and by feeling about it on purpose. So if I keep thinking things are going to work out for me, things are going to work out for me, things are going to work out for me, and it's getting exciting and I'm like, yee! That energy is going to start that whole swirl. If I'm sitting in my body and nothing's working out and I can't believe blah blah blah, I lost a whole day, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Like I could beat myself up till the cows came home about my lack of yesterdayness. I could name off things I haven't done in years that I got to do yesterday because of my little misstep. But sometimes, just like when we're driving on the road and you get behind somebody that's doing like 16 miles under the speed limit and you're practicing not being road rage and you remind yourself, wait, I'm being slowed down on purpose. I always tell my friends when we're driving and someone's driving like Mrs. Daisy's grandmother in front of us, I'm like, don't worry. This is auto-correcting our time. We are in the right place at the right time. And if that means we drive slower right now, then so be it. So if that meant that I needed a whole day to soak up couch, so be it. So be it. I was tired. I needed a break. I wanted a break. I said I wanted a break. I didn't necessarily want that kind of break. Next time I'll be better with my words. I'll do better next time. Thanks. That's about all I spend doing that. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to be regretful. Look, I even did it in my journal. Again, this is not something I do. I wrote in my journal, hangover day. I didn't do shit except for be hungover. Shit. And I guess what? I won't be doing that again anytime soon. You know, and not to say that I'm gonna really blame the margarita. No, it was Nancy that did it. It was Nancy. You know, I kind of knew. I could feel the honoriness, and I was like, I knew I was in a safe space. I knew I didn't. Yeah, I guess I knew the worst that could happen was yesterday. That was all. I just won't do that again because I prefer this instead. So I'm going to spend all day appreciating my well-being, appreciating my health, appreciating my active body, like my excitement. And I'm going to let that come out all day. Like I kind of have a little bit of extra stuff to do today because of my off day yesterday. But I'm just going to focus on how much I like to do my stuff and focus on how many days I've had way more to do than today and I still get it all done. And sometimes I sit back and I'm like, wow, how did that happen? You know, but I did, and it was great, and hooray. So I just know that that's how today's gonna be, you know. I know that spending 3 minutes appreciating and thinking into good thoughts is really good for my energy. And I think that's one thing that we would play with today. So if we would sit and tune our point of attraction on purpose, if we were gonna be a brand new person to these ideas, and we're gonna try something new because why not? Because it's free, nobody knows. If it doesn't work out, who cares? Like you're literally just playing with your thoughts. It's like growing your hair. You're in your space. You could set a timer for about, why did that happen? In your space. You could set a timer for about, why did that happen? Where are you now? I can't see me. Oh, I'm back. Hooray. I'm curious to see how this translates into FB land. Specifically, I don't want the quiet little shh from the computer monitor. It says it's muted. Is it muted to you guys? It can't be muted to you guys. It can't be muted to you guys. And FB. Of course, I haven't checked my FB. If it's muted, I'm gonna laugh my arse off. Okay. All right. Mary's about to come in, so I was thinking for yoga. I love twists. I love twists a lot because it's one of the ones that like make my back crack. I love when my back cracks. I like when any of my bones crack. It feels really, really good. I was definitely raised in that space where they told us like, if you crack your bones, it's bad for you, but I'm pretty sure that's all not true. And I also think it's one of those things that's malleable enough that we have influence, you know, kind of like our body and our like the size of our body, how our thoughts have a lot of influence over it more than maybe just like what our ideas about hereditary or like DNA encoded. Our thoughts have about as much control over that as our inner knowings, as our, like, we can reconstruct and adjust and tune our DNA with our mind. We can change our body. We can like change our physical body with our mind. It's just a matter of knowing and layering and doing that on purpose. That would definitely be like level 2 conversation. Today we're just gonna think into appreciation and let the growing just be, you know? The thing is, anytime, again, we're thinking about something more and more and more, whether we are thinking yay about it or no about it, we are growing it. We are appreciating it, you know? Even if it doesn't feel like appreciation, we are growing it by thinking into it. You know, the more we think into something, that is appreciation as far as like energy is concerned. You will grow more if you think about it. So if you can't think well about it, put it out of your mind for a little while. You know, let yourself think about something else instead until you can think about what you want without making you afraid or sad. It's sort of just that until you're able to start tuning thoughts on purpose, tuning your words on purpose. In the beginning, it's a little bit like, I gotta pause that until I can address this from an empowered place. You know, whether it's even just knowing that there's some shadow work to do and it's gonna, you know, kind of make me sad first, but I know the clarity's on the other side. You get to decide how much time you need. There are times when you'll realize a thought, realize a knowing that you've had, and that's not true anymore. And you can just change it. But not most of our things are like that. Most of our things at this point in the game, we kind of care about them. Oh. So first we're just gonna come on the mat, lay on our back. And as soon as you get down on the ground, can you see me? Yes, okay. As soon as you get down on the ground, lift up your feet, lift up your bum, lean left, lean right, lift the head, press your heart to the sky. I'm gonna scooch down a little so you can see me a little better. Okay. And then we're just squeeze the body like a cannonball. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Even pick up the head and like do your whole body, squeeze it like a little cannonball. And then lay it back down on the mat. Keep the knees bent up so the knees are pointing to the sky. Feet are flat, parallel on the mat. Now take the right leg and just let your right leg go nice and long. You can point the toes on that leg and flex the foot like an invisible floor. Do that a couple times. Point the toes, flex the foot. Then switch legs. Take the other one out straight. Point the toes, flex the foot. Bring that one back up. Let the right leg go long again, and this time scoop up that left.
You can grab behind the knee, in front of the shin, but just squeeze that leg up and kind of start to just rock it a little bit while this leg is long. Keeping this leg toes pointed or flexed. You can kind of play with both. And just sort of rock this hip open a little bit. And now we're going to roll onto our right side while holding this knee up. So as you are, slowly with control, help yourself roll onto that side body. So now this leg down here, my right leg is still long, and I'm laying on my right side, and I'm squeezing up my left leg and thigh as much as I can. Now I'm going to take this left arm, and I'm going to open, 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 and look with my eyes as much as I can. We never ever push our body past the point of it feeling good. If we're moving in a twist and it starts to pinch, come back out. If we're moving in somewhere and it's pulling in a way that doesn't feel good, come back out. No parts of this has to hurt for you to be well, for you to get better in your body and in your energy, better in a way that you deserve, better in a way that is more controllable by you. Now just roll the body back onto your back and switch legs. Squeeze up the right one, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And first, pivot this ankle from like pointing to flexing your feet. Rock this hip open a little bit, just a little rocky back and forth. And then slowly with control, help yourself rolling onto that left side. Oh, it feels good. Again, left leg nice and long down here, toes are pointed, and I'm just laying on my side with this right knee bent up. And then I'm going to take my right arm and let it open up behind me and look with my eyes and chin. You'll notice some side, like your one side may go down further than another. You may have more range of motion in your neck. Like I always like to on purpose look left and right. But again, if there's any pain, come back out. Then bring the arm back around, help the body back onto the back and squeeze the legs up again. And then we're just gonna close this with a little bit of happy baby while we're here. So while we have the legs up, we're gonna bring our hands behind our knees and just squeeze both knees bent up, 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 close, close, close to our belly, and then taking our legs a little wider and sort of rocking on the base of our spine. Just pivoting left and right, knees squeezed up. We can have our hands in front of our shins, behind the knees, like grasping the thighs. However you can get onto your body to kind of squeeze those legs in while you pivot, do that for now. And then as you're there, start to open the feet up to the sky. And then grabbing onto that part. So you can either grab the shin, you could still be behind the leg, you could grab onto the feet or big toes. And now you're sort of pulling these wide legs, pulling it in and into the body with your feet flexed to the sky, almost like you're trying to walk. You can totally point the ankles and feet, like pivot back and forth, but try to get it to where your feet are like flat and like almost like you're walking, and pull, pull, pull those thighs and legs in and into the body, into the torso. And as you do that, pivot on the spine, rock back and forth. And then when you're done, this space, there's one more little way to make it even better, and that's by leaning left, letting that leg go open, leaning right, letting that leg go open, and just kind of rocking back and forth. And now my baby's really happy. This is literally like my favorite. I feel like any pose that I do, I will do it and then like let myself play and wiggle and move around in it. So just being able to do that pose, and from here I was like, this is cool, but what if I did this? So let yourself be in your body and be curious. As you're moving, when you're safe and nothing is going to, I'm not going to hurt myself laying like this, So let yourself be curious about your body. Let yourself reach and play and take up space, whether you're laying on the ground or standing in the kitchen, or among your peers. And then always, 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 let's not forget how we treat our body, how we love our body. We put one hand on the heart. We put one hand on our belly and we think into the body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. We think into the body. I love you, body. I love you, body. I love you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. I love you, body. Thank you for everything we'll do today. Thank you for everything that you've done with me all of my days so far. Thank you, body. I love you, body. Thank you, body, for never giving up on me. Thank you, body, for always taking the hits when I was mad at you for no reason, for the things I've done to you. Thank you, body, for not quitting on me. Thank you, body, for replenishing and rebuilding. Thank you, body, for getting stronger. Thank you, body, for healing. Thank you, body. I love you, body. This is my favorite body to live in. I can see why I chose this body. I love this body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. I love you, body. And that, as they say, folks, is that. Also, like, the cool thing about my work, one of the cool things about my work, is as I get to share what works for me and what works for other people, my friends, my clients, I'm still doing this for me too. I remember when it like sort of realized to myself, like my work is going to keep me healthy just because of the nature of it. And I think that is so cool. Like my work gets to help me feed my family and gets to help me stay healthy. That's crazy, you know? Like, I just love how it gets to be good for me in more than one way. I love how my energy can be good for me in more than one way. I love that even though there are parts of my life that I want better and I'm so excited to have them better, I can let my energy work for me with that too until I am certain of what to do. Until I get a feeling that is aligned action. Until I know that's it. That's where I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to do. Like I know I can just rotate into other good feelings and let my emotional body tune all of the parts of me. As a human, in one body, all of my experiences are connected to how this human lives in her body. The cells in my body listen to every thought, every feeling, every sound that comes in through and near these ears. Nothing is missed by me. Nothing is missed for my cells. Everything I think and hear pings some sort of emotional response, and everything has the potential of creating a point of attraction and magnetizing components of that nature toward me. And I can tune me as a vessel to well-being, even in parts of my life that I'm a little unsure about. I love that I'm part energy and part human. I love that I can let this invisible part of me support me. I love that the invisible part of me can take really good care of this tangible me. I love that I don't have to ask another human what's best for me. I can, but I could always listen to me. I love that there's a part of me that is always waiting to help me out, to ask me, to answer my questions, to reassure me when I'm doubtful, to give me clues of which way to go through synchronicities. I love having a relationship with my intuition. I think it's maybe one of my favorite parts of being a human these days, these past 10 years. And I love teaching other people how to get to this space where all of a sudden they get to be re-curious about themselves. They get to be interested in themselves. They get to have this inner experience of like, the only way to say it that really feels true is like that ugly duckling story. I just felt like I was my own little ugly duckling for so long. And it doesn't have as much to do with ugly and pretty as how it felt
And it does at the same time. I think I look just like I've always looked. But I am definitely a more physically appealing version of me. And I don't hate me for when I didn't look like me, because I wasn't feeling like me. It would make sense that I wouldn't feel like me, so how would I look like me? But when I feel like this version of me, even my physical reality has changed. And that alone was able to help me learn, like, I could do it here, I could do it here, I could do it there, I could do it there. If I'm able to do it with my body, with my relationships with my children, with work, with home, with partners or not, I could do it anywhere. And we are always doing it anyway, whether we're doing it on purpose or not. And it's like, if you realized how much influence these things that we're doing all day have, we would do them on purpose. If you knew letting yourself think something like, it's funny to crack jokes on ourselves, right? But if we knew that saying something like FML would actually bring more FML energy in, we wouldn't say that. We would say, "Aw, we don't want to FML. We want to be happy." You know, we wouldn't want to bring more on ourselves if we actually knew that's what was happening. I think that we let ourselves get tricked by our ego. And it's like, if I know it's not going to work out, I won't be let down. We've been a little tricked about expectation. And we've been sort of advised that expectations are dangerous for us. And it will leave us disappointed. And in fact, the opposite is true. It's important to have expectation, and it's important to know where to expect from. Like, when you know that you get to be supported, it's just natural that you're going to expect to be supported. The same way that, you know, with gravity, if I jump up, I'm gonna come back down. You know, when I ask into the universe, I am going to be answered. I've been practicing this for 10 years. That's undeniable. The same way gravity is known to me, this part is known to me. And whether I ever learned about gravity or not, whether I ever learned about this or not, both were available. And the same goes for every human. Whether you ever learn about gravity, whether you ever learn about your intuition and your energy, it's still available. You will have experiences with it. It will have experiences with you. And whether you are aware of them and using them on purpose for yourself or not, that's going to happen, you know? But it always makes me think of, like, I imagine, like, could you imagine if we were born and we didn't know, like, our legs could walk? Could you imagine if we were just born and we were just, like wobbled on our asses or something? Like, our legs were just, like, flinging around there? Like, what if... Could you imagine, like, if we didn't realize that those legs, like, oh shit, I can stand up on these things. It's like in Little Mermaid, you know, when her fishtail went to 2 legs, and then, like, she's like, whoa, this is crazy. You know, it's kind of like that. What if, could you imagine not using your legs for as old as you are right now? Could you imagine all the things that you've got to do? If you didn't have legs, how that experience would have been drastically different. Drastically different. You know? No matter what, if you didn't have legs, that situation would have been drastically different. And no matter what, when you have your intuition, all situations are drastically different. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. Like, it will be cool, exciting, holy crap. You get to be new in yourself, new in your experiences. You get to be renewed about you. You can do that and you cannot. Like, that's where your free will lives. Your free will is choosing how to care for your energy or not. Okay, I'm gonna go. My thing is canceling me. I'm being canceled by my computer. Also, my BFF is probably gonna come through the door and we're gonna play beauty shop. And then we got homeschool. I know just a couple more things to catch up on. So yeah, have the best day. Practice some appreciation on purpose for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and see what you can get spilling into life for you for fun just because. Practice thinking anything that you can appreciate, whether it's like your body functions, like circulatory system, respiratory system, or sun and moon, or like your home, loved ones or family, whatever it is, your pets, anything that you can practice appreciation on that's easy, something that you easily love. You don't have to be convinced. Set a timer on your phone for like 2 minutes and just think on purpose. I love that. Thank you. Think, and you actually have to feel it. You don't just say, thank you for my things, and just go. That's not going to tune. That's not emotionally reactive. That's blah. That's like the same as meditation, which is cool, but it's not tuning a point of attraction. Meditation is opening up for the everything, and tuning your point of attraction is getting focused, getting specific, and like driving, So you get to decide where you are. Practice being appreciative for a couple of minutes today, and then notice how things respond differently. The biggest part of this work is paying attention to your life, paying attention to your thoughts, paying attention to things different, walking into a room and noticing something tiny off and knowing that that's a clue. There's a clue here. Something's going to be a little different, and I'm going to leave that situation and I'll be a little different, and I'll get to another situation and that'll be a little different. And that's how we were able to change our life. One little thought, one little feeling at a time. Rinse and repeat, Okay. See you later, Gator. Bye-bye.